Hello there. This is Domination 28, and today we're talking about Halo Infinite. Now, I got selected to play both of the flights, and let me just say, it was loads of fun. Great time. I'd even be willing to say this is going to be the greatest Halo ever, and I'll explain why here in a little bit. Now, some background, pretext, some lore. I've been playing Halo since CE, played them all, beat them all. Halo is definitely my favorite game series by far, so you already know I'm hyped on Halo Infinite. So let's start off. I want to talk about how this game feels compared to other Halos. I would say this is like a mix of Halo Reach 3 and 4. If that makes any sense, this is how I'm feeling with this. But it's faster than Halo Reach and 3 by far, like the feel and the combat. But it's got a lot of technicality to something that like Halo 4 had. So that's what I would say. It's a mix of those three Halo games. You can agree or disagree. That's fine. This is just my opinion. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the graphics. And oh boy, let me say this game looks beautiful. It's gorgeous. I play it on the Xbox Series X, and it's phenomenal. It's a gorgeous game. I don't know what more to say. 343 has really pulled through on the graphics department. All the textures are super detailed, like Halo Reach was in previous Halos. Reach specifically, that comes to my mind. There's scratches all over your Spartan's armor and weapons, and it's just really immersive. So next thing I wanted to talk about was the UI, and this I feel like needs some work. It's not bad. It's not terrible. I'd say it's better than some of the previous Halos we've had recently, but specifically, like your character customization, you have to like go to the main menu and scroll right or click RB if you're on Xbox to start customizing your guy. And for those who don't know, in like every other Halo game, all you had to do was press start like anywhere in the game, and there was a option there to start customizing your Spartan, and you could do it anywhere you want. It's not that big of a deal, but it doesn't feel like Halo. I don't like that personally. Another thing with the customization with the Spartans is it's all linear. Everything's kind of just laid out left to right. I don't really like that either. I liked the verticality better. That, like, for example, Halo Reach again. I'm going to use that for a lot of examples here. But Halo Reach had the perfect, like, armor picking system, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. Like, the actual customization, though, this is the greatest Halo Spartan customization we've ever had, like, by far. You can do your gloves, your legs, like you name it. You can do it all. And speaking of the menu, the music is amazing. It's just great. I'll play some of it here so you can listen to it. But it's they're bangers, straight up bangers. Let's talk about equipment because that's really cool. There's quite a bit in Halo Infinite. I'm gonna try to name them all. So there's the grapple, which is as it sounds, you look somewhere, press the button, you go there, and you can hijack vehicles that way too. You don't have to press the hijack button. You just rappel onto the vehicle and it'll do it for you. There's this drop wall that it's like a bubble shield, but like way toned down. You just throw it out in front of you, and you just have like a wall in front of you that's like 3 people big, I'd say, and about as tall as you are. But it's super weak. One battle rifle shot will take out one of the squares because it's made up of like 9 squares or some shit, and it's just really weak that it needs a buff. Active camouflage is an equipment, and it's fucking so OP. I have a video out on that. Overshield is equipment now in this, and your like Spartan just kind of highlights white a little bit. I've heard people say that they feel like it's underpowered a bit. I kind of agree. It needs a little bit of a buff. It was pretty easy to take down. You couldn't do a lot with it. You get like one engagement and it was pretty much done. So thrusters or like evade is another type of equipment, and I didn't get to use that a lot, but it's kind of like the thrusters from Halo 5, but like you're limited to how many you can do. It's alright. It's not nothing crazy. Threat sensor is another equipment. You shoot it out and it reveals the location of enemies within a certain radius. Pretty cool. You can like see them through walls and whatnot. Oh, and then there's the repulsor, I believe it's called, and this thing's super cool. You can, it's a wrist attachment, and you can use it to, for example, if somebody shoots a rocket at you, you can use it to deflect a rocket back at them. You can do that with grenades, vehicles, and even enemy Spartans you could push back. I've done some pretty cool things with that. I've uploaded here, so you can check that out if you want to see some of it. Bunch of people posting it. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably seen it, but great S tier equipment there. But the equipment is very fun to use in Halo Infinite. I think that's all of them. There might be more, but that's all I got to use in the flight. So what I have played so far between the two flights is against bots, 4v4s, 4v4 against, people, and then big team battle against people. And like I said, I prefer the bigger game modes in like any video game. So I was really waiting for the big team battle to come out, and I went ham in that. The bots were pretty good. They weren't terrible. They kind of mimicked humans pretty well. At the first flight, the difficulty of the bots were one of the lowest, Marine difficulty. So I'll explain the difficulties real quick. There's 4 in total, spanning from like weakest to strongest is Recruit, Marine, ODST, then Spartan is the hardest. And the Spartans didn't feel that much more harder than the ODSTs when they came out, but they've came out and said that they've been working on that since the first flight. And that's another thing. 343 has been so transparent about this game. It's just really good to see. You don't get that from a lot of developers nowadays. Now moving on back to the 4v4s. The maps were pretty well. There was 3 or 4 maps, I believe, with the flight, and it's graphically they're amazing, of course, and even just like the straight up layout is good. Like each of the maps were super different. Like none of them felt even remotely the same. So I have very high hopes for the maps going forward here. Big team battle, my bread and butter. This shit was so much fun. I don't even know what else to say. There was 3 game modes. There was the Slayer, Capture the Flag, and of course, we all know what Capture the Flag is. And then I forgot what the new game mode was called, Lockdown or something. So basically, there's 3 zones, and you have to capture all 3 to score a point. And once you capture all 3, the zones disappear and take some time to reset. And you do this till one team gets 3 points. And it can create some pretty engaging gameplay. It's like there's like power struggles going on the map, and the rounds can last 30 seconds or they can last like fucking 10 minutes. It's crazy. Super fun though. The sandbox is all there. The classic Halo sandbox. All the marketing is spot on right now with that sandbox feel. When I was playing, there was, shit flying overhead, vehicles flying overhead, people flying overhead with the rappels. I watched this one dude skyjack a Banshee from hella far, and I could see him fly across the map onto the Banshee. That shit was cool. The only downside, we had 1 map to play, but it never really got old. I didn't no life it. I didn't play the entire time, but the map was great. It was amazing. Bunch of different ways to go. This nice forest looking map, but other than there just being 1 map, there's a lot to look forward to with big team battle. Big hype on that. So now I want to talk about some of the guns, not all of them, just a few. First one I want to talk about is the new Commando, and this gun, I think it has like a love or hate feel in the community right now, and I'm on the love train. I love this gun. It doesn't outperform the battle rifle, but I feel like it has the potential to. Behind like a really skilled player, that gun is mean. I'm hoping it doesn't replace the DMR in this game either. I don't know if the DMR was confirmed or not, because those guns have 2 completely different roles, the Commando and DMR. considering the commando's an automatic. The way I found to play it the best is if you're shooting farther range with the commando, like tap your trigger, like tap it, tap fire it, it's deadly. Next up, the Bulldog. And this is another love or hate weapon. They hate because it replaces the original shotgun, and I understand that. But aside from that fact, it's a very fun weapon, in my opinion. I've had a lot of fun with it during the flights, especially in big team battle. Had a lot of moments to go crazy with that. It's like a semi-auto shotgun, and it's just fun. Personally, that's what I think of it. And then the last weapon I want to touch on is the focus rifle. This thing is mean. It's sort of like a DMR sniper for the Brute faction, the Banished. And this gun is just mean. You can shoot weapons with it, and it puts on this like electrical effect, and it like hurts people. Like you can shoot weapons and kill somebody. Like that's just nuts. It can EMP vehicles as well. Speaking of EMPing, the plasma pistol does not EMP vehicles anymore. That is sad. Big hurt. 343, please fix. But aside from it stealing the plasma pistol's thunder, I think it's a great weapon. Super fun. It can like outperform the sniper in certain situations. All right, so let's talk about the vehicles now. I generally feel like they all have more like weight to them. The Ghost is a lot more slower. Like it's still fast, but like it feels like it's armored up. The Banshee specifically is super like slow. Like, is this something you had to like feel for yourself? If you flew it, you know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, I did not get to use a Scorpion tank. I didn't realize that until just now. Dang, that kind of sucks. It's one of my favorite vehicles. So I can't talk about that. I flew the Wasp. That was pretty cool. I don't really have anything bad to say about the Wasp. It felt cool as shit to use. And that's a lot about Halo Infinite. It just generally felt fun to play to me. But the Warthog, yeah, like they all felt more weighty. The Mongoose though is a little quick boy. Like compared to all the other vehicles, it's pretty damn quick. Like you can really get in and out of situations. You're still vulnerable, but with the way that the one map we had with Big Team Battle, it was pretty hard to kill a dude on the Mongoose zipping by. You can switch seats in the Warthog. That's a feature that's returning. I actually really enjoy this feature. I'm glad it's here. It promotes some pretty crazy gameplay when you get hijacked, and then you gotta like melee the person out if you're in the passenger. I'll throw some footage of that up here. But yeah, vehicles are pretty cool. Still haven't got to use all of them. Like the Wraith, looking forward to that. I don't know what else is being added and whatnot, but vehicles felt pretty fun to use. But like I said, the Banshee felt very slow and sluggish, so that might need a tweak. I don't know how everybody feels about that yet. And then I just want to talk about one grenade, and I think it's called the shot grenade. It's kind of like the pulse rifle's effect when you shoot a weapon. It's like all electric, but it's a grenade form, and it EMPs vehicles, which is super cool. But it's got a real huge AoE effect. It won't kill you instantly, but it like damages you over time, and it's a really fun grenade to use. That's all the grenades I wanted to talk about. Moving on to campaign and forge. We don't have a lot on these. We know forge is not coming at launch. Sad again, but there's nothing we can do. I'd rather get it later and it be done than get it like soon and it be broken or and whatnot. But that's about it on forge. Campaign though, we've had a couple trailers, super beautiful cinematic trailers. Got a lot of mystery. They're going back to that like Halo 1 mysterious feel for this game. They've taken a lot of inspiration from Halo 1 that I've read about. We know Chief has a new AI now. I don't think she has a name. I think we call her the Weapon for now, but she's pretty much like a Cortana replacement. So really intrigued to see how this plays out. Like so far this campaign is got me hooked with the mystery part, I won't lie. Like I just really want to play the damn thing. And then there's no co-op at launch. That is another sad fact, but you know, I guess we'll get it eventually. You know, shit happens. But overall, 343 has been very open about the development of this game, and that's just great. That's amazing. That's about all you can ask for. Oh, I forgot to mention, Sprint is back. Love it or hate it, it's here. I love it. I don't understand the hate behind Sprint. You're a super soldier. They ran fast. Why can't you run fast in the game? That's my argument for it. But that's just my opinion. But yes, overall, 343 has been very open, and that's just great. The gameplay, in my opinion, is almost like a dream. I had a lot of fun playing the game. It's got me super excited for it. Graphics have been stepped up since that first reveal. You know, they're listening the feedback. I think this game has a bright future if 343 continues to do what they're doing with it. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them below. If you disagree with anything, you know, let me know, write it down. And you remember, like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.